And we're now on to game 2 of match 2. So for sideboarding for this matchup, I've just done my normal Delver sideboard, which means going up to 3 decays and adding Empty the Warrens. And I normally cut 1 Past in Flames, 1 Ad Nauseam. I don't have to cut a Preordain this time. Obviously, I have to cut top now, so I actually have no top, no Preordain. They're both now decays, and it means I get to keep my full complement of rituals for a change. So normally I would side out a Cabal ritual to keep Preordain or top, but in this case, obviously, Preordain's not there, so I can't. And my opponent will obviously decide to play first. And we see, because I think we're up against Bug, I see Tendrils in hand and not really that much action. And I don't want to lose my Tendrils to something like a turn 1 Thoughtseize. And then have it Deathrite, Shaman, or Surgical. So I mull. And I see an OK. An OK6. And I see a Dark Ritual on my scry, and I think I make a mistake here because I think I likely should have scried that to the bottom. I don't think I really want to be drawing a Dark Ritual here. Rituals are pretty easy to find. You run a bunch. So I think something like a Brainstorm or a second fetch land would have been much preferred. And he leads on Trop. Ships the turn. Now, we will have to run out Trop here, which is not ideal. We do know he plays Wasteland, and I probably should have played out the Petal just to try to make sure I'm daze proof. But it doesn't matter, it plays out, and I see a bunch more lands. So I'm going to want to draw the Island, because he can't him us next turn. So it's fine to draw the Island here. That's going to be our kind of mainstay land, and I think I want the Brainstorm next turn. And we'll Brainstorm into the sea. And that's a pretty greedy Brainstorm. He must have been missing something. Because he'll just ship the turn. Now we'll play out the Petal to make sure we're daze proof. And we'll Brainstorm to try and find a fetch land. We don't. So now we find, obviously, the sea that we knew that was there. And we see a Volk and a Dark Ritual as well. And we really don't want either of those cards. So we'll play out the Island now and Ponder to get a shuffle. And we see another Ponder. And I decide to keep here, which because of the strength of the Ponder, and because for some reason I think I want the Ritual here, I decide to keep it. So I think that was actually incorrect. So we'll take the Ponder, ship the turn. And my opponent confuses the crap out of me here by casting a Thoughtscour, a card that I just never thought was going to be legacy playable. And he Thoughtscours targeting himself. And here I find out why he cast Thoughtscour. So obviously he's on some kind of Thoughtscour Turbo Delve deck, obviously trying to use big Delve creatures in place of actual Delvers. And obviously cutting some interaction for Thoughtscours. Makes the Abrupt Decays that I brought in look a little bit silly as well. and Nile Spellbomb, just to really try to give us a hard time. And I will cast Ponder here, and at this time I do choose to shuffle. And with the Duress, the main cards of interest here are, I think, Ponder and Flusterstorm. We decide to take Flusterstorm here. Basically, we can afford to do this because if we draw a tutor next turn, based on what we see now, if we draw a tutor next turn, we can cast Dark Ritual, Therapy the Stifle, and go for Empty the Warrants, and outrace the Herding Mandrills there, the big dumb monkey. So we take the Flusterstorm, we leave him with the Ponder. So the Ponder can obviously draw extra interaction, or be used to find extra interaction. And obviously, you know, that's always going to be a problem card. It's always a good card, but I think the Flusterstorm here leads into our plan a bit better. And he Thought Scours himself again. And this is where our plan gets worse. The Lotus Petal was going to be our red source for Empty the Warrens, if we were able to do so. Remembering that we've cut ad nauseum for fear of lightning bolts. If I'd known it was a pure bug deck, instead of having access to red, I might have kept bolts. I think the Angler threw me off in game 1. But yeah, he decays the Petal. I guess that's almost good, because at least we know he's kept bad cards in. And it just gets worse for us here, because he draws a Wasteland and takes our C. And that leaves him with Stifle, Ponder. So we'll play our own Ponder here. We have to shuffle this. We want the black source. We really don't want the other ritual, and we really like the Duress is okay. And unfortunately, we just draw another ritual. And opponent just goes straight to combat. Cast Ponder. Obviously looking for extra interaction. And we find that swamp that we wanted. So we're still in the game here. Our opponent spellbombs, nukes our graveyard. Swings in for another 4. And drops another big dumb monkey. And we draw Abrupt Decay, which, as I said, looks pretty dumb here. So we are dead on board next turn, so we scoop.